list, I'd like to introduce our last panelist, Mr. Thiện, Huỳnh. Over there. Mr. Huỳnh is a prominent journalist and lifelong community and human rights activist. Mr. Huỳnh left Vietnam in 1970 to obtain his abroad college education in Japan. He has dedicated all his life in the quest for freedom, human rights, and democracy for Vietnam. And I will be joining him for our last presentation. From day one, the Voice of Freedom for Vietnam launched Bringing the Flame Back Home campaign, using music and media as powerful tools to spread the message of freedom and human rights to the Vietnamese people. Music ignites the spirit, while media amplifies the message, reaching the community worldwide, including those inside Vietnam. Songs like Dreams of a Return and many others have gained popularity in the democratic movement, encouraging peaceful protest. They inspire, they unite, and help raise political awareness while keeping the hope for freedom alive. When Diễm, one of our founders, passed away, thousands of land petitioners in Vietnam sang his song. The California State Legislature honored him by naming a freeway after him. As you can see, the freeway Diễm, Human Rights Memorial Freeway, Highway. Building on that momentum, we launched the Singing for Freedom campaign to expose the persecution of dissidents in Vietnam. We collaborated with Vietnam Human Rights Network to establish the Human Rights Award, honoring individuals who have fought for justice through non-violent means, include Father Nguyễn Văn Lý, the most venerable Thích Quảng Đồ, lawyer Nguyễn Văn Đài, singer Việt Khang, and blogger Phạm Đoàn Trang. Through relentless advocacy and international pressure, some prisoners of conscience, such as Pastor Nguyễn Công Chính, lawyer Nguyễn Văn Đài, and songwriter Việt Khang were released and granted asylum abroad. Meanwhile, Vietnam Human Rights Records has remained a focal point in diplomatic dialogues with the US, Canada, and the EU. Now, Mr. Thien, who will talk about Father Lý.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here with us until now, the last section, and for my convenience. Please let me speak Vietnamese today. Kính thưa quý vị, chúng tôi là Hưng Ca, rất hân hạnh lần đầu tiên được tham dự cái sinh hoạt ngày hôm nay. Thì đây là cái section cuối cùng tham dự đông đảo, chúng tôi rất là vui và xin quý vị ở lại tiếp tục để cùng với Hưng Ca cho hết section này. Thưa quý vị, ngày 30 tháng 7 năm 2007, quý vị còn nhớ là tại một tòa án tại Huế thì linh mục Nguyễn Văn Lý đã bị điều ra trước vành móng ngựa. Và khi ngài vừa mở miệng nói cất tiếng nói thì đã bị một tên công an đứng đằng sau, đó là tên Nguyễn Minh Tân, đưa tay bịt miệng ngài lại. Đó là cái chuyện hết sức là lạ lùng. Và khi tấm hình này được đưa ra hải ngoại thì chúng tôi thấy rằng đây là một tấm hình rất là độc đáo và có một về mặt truyền thông thì rất là có thể nói là ăn khách, và chúng tôi đã gửi tới nhiều tòa báo tại Hoa Kỳ để mong họ phổ biến tấm hình độc đáo này, nhưng rất tiếc hầu như không có một tờ báo nào phổ biến. Vì thế cộng đồng chúng tôi phải tự gây quỹ để mà trang trải cho việc thực hiện những cái billboard lớn như thế này, chiều cao 14 feet và chiều dài 28 feet. Thưa quý vị, và cái billboard đầu tiên là tại San Francisco, kế tới là cái billboard đầu tiên là tại San Jose, kế tới là San Francisco, kế tới là Nam Cali, kế tới là Australia, Canada và Canada. So ở Houston, that's it.
On March 30th, 2007, the historical photo of the choking voice of Father Nguyễn Văn Lý was leaked overseas. Many major media outlets refused to cover the incident. Therefore, we fundraised ourselves and put up the billboard billboard of the chosen voice of Father Vân Lý on freeway, calling for world attention. Following us, many other places also adopted the idea and also put up the billboard in other cities as well. Now, our mission extends beyond human rights. It is also about protecting the historical truth. When the Return Our Motherland campaign protests China violation of Vietnam sovereignty, publishing open letters in the Washington Post, USA Today, and the Washington Times against Hu Jintao visit in 2004 to the US. The We Vote for Freedom campaign also mobilized Vietnamese American voters to support candidates committed to democracy in Vietnam. In 2018, we launched the Việt Dũng Media Award to challenge the historical distortions in Ken Burns and Linh Novick documentary, The Vietnam War, ensuring the voices of soldiers, people of the South to be heard and respected. Our fight hasn't been without backlash from the Vietnamese government. Many leaders of the Voice of Freedom for Vietnam have been condemned, with some sentenced to death in absentia. Those performing or distributing our music in Vietnam have been harassed, arrested, under forced charges of propaganda against in the state. Our members abroad have been denied entry to Vietnam. Our website, YouTube channel, and publication have faced blocks.
When you see the slide over there, the book names Người Việt Nam ở nước ngoài, Overseas Vietnamese, published by the true publisher, political publisher in Hanoi. They label Phong trào Hình ca Việt Nam was formed in 1985 with the names of our founder, Hà Phước Trinh, Nguyễn Hữu Nghĩa, Nguyễn Ánh, Đào Trường Phúc. This organization do both literature, music, but also have activity against the Vietnamese government. So they label us as cultural commandos, artistic commandos.
Thank you. Again, other media outlet, internet, we were really a target. Despite being labeled in anti-state force by the Vietnamese government, we refuse to back down. A free press is the most powerful nonviolent weapon in the fight for justice. It exposes corruption and holds leaders accountable. It protects the voiceless, vulnerable, and the vulnerable. It fuels democratic change. We stand by our belief. When the truth spread, freedom is within reach.
Dạ thưa quý vị, như quý vị đã biết, ngày 15 tháng 3 vừa qua, đột nhiên chính phủ Hoa Kỳ đã cắt mọi tài trợ cho đài phát thanh VOA và AFN, tức là Á Châu Tự Do. Đây là một cú sốc rất lớn cho người dân Việt ở trong nước, đặc biệt là cho những người đấu tranh cho nhân quyền tự do tại Việt Nam. Như quý vị đã biết, nhà nước Việt Nam đã khống chế và chỉ đạo và cơ quan truyền thông trong nước phải phổ biến tin tức theo lệnh của Đảng Cộng sản Việt Nam. Vì thế, người dân Việt Nam rất mong muốn được nghe tiếng nói của sự thật từ đài VOA và nhất là đài Á Châu Tự Do, là tiếng nói ủng hộ cho tự do và dân chủ nhân quyền tại Việt Nam. Vì thế, chúng tôi tha thiết kêu gọi quý vị ủng hộ cho chiến dịch kêu gọi chính phủ Hoa Kỳ hãy phục hồi hoạt động cho đài VOA và đài Á Châu Tự Do. Xin cảm ơn quý vị.
We are deeply concerned about the closure of the Vietnamese services of Voice of America, VOA, and the Radio Free Asia, RMA. It's a critical platform that provided uncensored news, cutting through propaganda. Authoritarian regimes like Vietnam fear a free press. They build firewall, censor the internet, arrest people simply for accessing independent media. Shutting down VOA and RMA gives them exactly what they want. Less truth, less accountability, and a way to silence dissidents more easily. This is not just a loss for Vietnam, it is a setback for global press freedom. We urge journalists, activists, lawmakers to demand for these essential services to be reinstated. Silencing those voices empower oppressors, and we cannot let that stand. As press freedom and human rights in Vietnam remain under attack, your support is crucial. Spread out the persecuted journalists and activists. Share the information about human rights violation in Vietnam. Support peaceful advocacy campaign. Together, we can build a Vietnam where human rights are respected and the press is free and every citizen has a voice. Thank you. Thanks to all the countries that offer asylum, Vietnam footsteps scatter all over the world. Now, I would like to bring to you a song called Footsteps of Vietnam. Activism.
I remembered my country's griefs and lies gone so stray. Winds weary with disbelief, heaven was froze away. In times when all seemed lost, adrift on stormy seas, unheard cries of sacrifice, dreams shatters hopelessly. Memories remain alive through those long lost nights. So remember all life. vẫn nhớ quê nhà, mẹ hiền choàng chợ giấc mơ khi trời nửa đêm về xa. Đời dù buồn vui vẫn thế, đừng thấy thêm chia lìa, lạc loài là một nỗi đau, thấy nhau hãy tin còn nhau. Khắp nơi trên địa cầu rơi dấu bước chân Việt Nam, những đôi chân miệt mài đã hướng tới dưới ánh màn mai. Lâu nay ta là lính 50 năm ngại ngần, sống giữa ân và oán, muốn hát lên đôi lần. Grand Merci la France, for those past who bear. Thanks to Australia for your open hearts. Thank you Canada for the liberty. Thanks America for your open arms. We thank the world for its true freedom. We thank the world. We thank the world. Thank you. We thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, thank you. Now we would like to have a Q&A session. Please feel free to, to walk to the microphone stand and ask your questions, and we hope to answer all the questions that you have.
Thank you for everything, okay, for the music. We enjoy it. My question is to Mr. Bùi Phu. So in your presentation, you mentioned some very well-known names, such as Chi-Hue and Educator. And I know they're not ours. They're from communist country. They came here with some mission, doing something for the communist government in Vietnam, because they already exposed the idea, exposed the behavior, okay, towards the ideology we embrace, like Chi-Hue and Educator. So I don't know if you guys, what do you guys think about those people? And what will you cope with that situation? And you will do something to correct or to help them to understand that our cause, and maybe someday, they will reverse. But at this time, I still don't believe they are our comrades. Thank you.
Okay, my answer for you will be that in the principle of Amnesty International, that is how I work. If the people being detained in Vietnam without trial, we will campaign for them to be put on trial. And then after on trial, if they are in prison for some of the peaceful activity, we appeal or we help them to get out of the prison. And then some of them being expelled from Vietnam. That's the government thing. When they came here, what they do, what they choose to do, whatever the thing they join the party or some group, that's their freedom. We just want that when we work for the Amnesty International, that they get out of the prison. And if they come to other countries, go Germany, France, or USA, then they have their own voice, own choice, whatever they want to do. We don't intervene after that.
So I really appreciate the comment about the cuts to funding to Voice of America and Radio Free Asia, and how important that media is to people in Vietnam. And I wonder if you could comment more broadly on the other things that are taking place in the United States. As a refugee myself, I am deeply concerned to see the United States be much less welcoming to refugees than it was to people like us. I'm very concerned about attacks on our free media in the United States, because we need to have a free media in the United States if we're ever hoping to have free media in other countries that do not currently have one. And I would like to hear you say whether or not you think the current administration in the United States, the second Trump administration, is for democracy here in the United States and in Vietnam and around the world or not, given your long history of activism for refugees, human rights, and democracy.
Thank you. Okay, myself is the contributor for VOA, BBC, and I've worked with the refugees for some years back in Indonesia and Hong Kong. Of course, I do not support the policy of the current U.S. government under President Trump. We should be aware of that. But for the people of USA, we in general, we are the citizenship of this country, elected him, and we have to accept whatever not accept it, whatever he's doing. We don't agree, then we protest. That's my opinion.
Yes, we're taking all kind of actions, starting with the petitions, and also we work with the local official to rally or hopefully to lobby up to the top. But starting somewhere, we are creating change. I'd like to take the next question.
First, I like to speak this in Vietnamese to express all of my feeling about. Cảm ơn tất cả các anh chị. Những giây phút vừa qua, cái tinh thần của các anh chị, tôi tin là chạm tới trái tim tất cả những người tham dự ở đây và cũng đến với đồng bào community, Vietnamese community in the US. My question is related to the previous question. However, it is in bigger scope. The question is, due to the interest of the US and normalization between the US and its communist government, I don't think the human rights or democracy or freedom, the values that we have been based on and lean on the US as the model for those struggle, now still may be very not clear. So the question here is not only for phong trào Hưng Ca, but the question here is for all the efforts of the overseas Vietnamese American community, is how I think it's about time that we have to rethink the strategy, the way that we make the issue known and be effectively help our people in Vietnam. I don't think we can, it's hard for us now to campaign to the US administration based on the value of freedom, the freedom of democracy, the value of human rights, that the US has been the leader in those values in the past. Thank you.
That's $1 million question. What we've been done for the last 40, 50 years, we keep doing that. Never lose hope. But now the situation changed, like you just said. And you know what's the most important right now? Money. If you have money, you lobby all the legislature, you win. And that happened to the Israel community. They have a lot of people represented in the Congress. They have a lot of money. So the question now is, how do we get money to lobby them? That's a $1 million question, and I don't have the answer right now. And maybe some of us in this panel, maybe Dr. Michael Drip, if you have any solution for this question.
The solution is very briefly. Under the American, under the President Trump, we say, MAGA, make American great again. But for the overseas Vietnamese, we must say MVRA, make Vietnam revise again.
I'd like to add to all the comments that you guys just shared. I like what you said. It's time for us to re-strategize, right? What's happening in our community. I think it takes each individual. That's why us over here, 50 years, we never lose hope. We keep doing it. We keep doing it. I think there is a will, there is a way. But we just have to start somewhere. Start somewhere. The spark has to start somewhere. I always have hope. Just like today. All of you are here. So I think it is a positive outlook. I've always had that.
So, in that spirit, we all will be with you.
Thank you so much. That keeps us going. Thank you. Next, I'd like to take the next one.
Thank you for your performance. It's wonderful today. And continue to her question about VOA, the cutting of the budget of VOA or FI. Here in America, we have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, because the voice, VOA and RFI, they are one-sided. So how can you keep supporting one-sided media like that and broadcasting around the world like that? How can you do that, right? And here we have to have bipartisan, left and right. You have to say left and right. But here, whenever I go to VOA, they always say only in one side. And then they say, in the other side, about Trump administration, they're always against and make some very, fake liberals. And then they insult and arouse the, people to stand up. That is not, we have freedom, but you cannot create, incite the something to for example, like now it happened here in America about Tesla. So I think we respect everyone opinion, but we have to be bipartisan.
Thank you so much for the comment. I totally agree with that. Let me add to her comment. I don't recall when was the last time I really trusted the media, whatever I see. I think it's not so much of the fight of human rights, justice, but indeed we are facing the fight with the media. Left, right, left, we are living in such a big confusion where each of us have to do homework ourselves, right? Bipartisan, like you said. So it is something that each one of us has to do homework, determine which one's left, which one's right. But like I said, at the end of the day, we all have to do some research and put our heart and soul to it. You have anything to add?
If you disagree with something like VOA, don't close it. Change it.
Yes.
You can change the person over there. You change the director of that, broadcasting services. And we keep continue doing what we're supposed to do. Why you have to close it? Right? In terms of the RFA Radio Free Asia, I don't see any one-sided like what you said. RFA focus to Vietnam, human rights, freedom, and democracy. RFA don't mention any politics in America. Republican, Democratic is not the mission of RFA. They are focusing on Vietnam, China, Korea, closing those, the RFA, just like you give them free lunch. They set up the firewall to prevent RFA broadcast to Vietnam. Now, they don't have to do that no more. They celebrate. They drink champagne. Hey, they close it. Thank you.
I would like to invite Dr. Maitan to add your comment to this because this is a very sensational and very controversial issue in our community.
Yes, you will. When I see you getting live, so my sweet must be very fair. Okay. My duty for today is to share with you the present. So yes, today. This published on September 9, 2004 in Vietnamese and both in English, in which they share the open letter to the 9/11 event. I can do. Phong trào Huynh ca we urge to continue supporting our struggle for freedom, democracy, and human rights for the Vietnamese people. The Vietnamese people, American community, will never forget your noble causes. And in which we will just require to publish a letter of protest on Sino-Vietnamese border treaty. The letter of protestation called against the Treaty of Sino-Vietnamese in French. Bản lên tiếng in Vietnam and in China. So this was on September 9, 2004, just 3 years after the 9/11 attack. Thank you.
You know how much does it cost for that? $100,000 for that.
For one letter.
One letter.
Just
And
for
you
one
say-
letter.
Yes, I'd like to take the next comment. Yes.
We Americans have an old saying about this point. You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Absolutely.
That depends on, but on the VOA point, the timing was very bad. And I'm very disappointed because in the last several months, a number of people under pen names have been publishing on VOA and RFA ideas to respond to Do Lam's suggestion that there could be a Kinh Nguyện mới, a new era in Vietnam. What would that be like? So there's a very easy channel, right? They write, goes up on VOA, lots of people can see the ideas inside the country. They can talk to each other. They can see, is this good, is this bad? And some of these things, they sent it to me first so I could write some ideas. I was very honored. But I have a difficult question for the Phong Trào Hung Ca.
Yes.
And then I have a suggestion. My difficult question is, and you don't have to answer, okay? If, Dolang, open something up in a new way, would you be willing to
Go back.
cooperate? Go back, but maybe that's too much too soon. But would you be willing, because your music is wonderful. I think you can move Vietnamese. The question is which direction? You use your talents. How are you going to move them? Up or down, right?
Yeah.
But if there is some changes, would you respond with cooperation? You don't have to answer because it's a very difficult question for many Vietnamese. My suggestion is on this. I was sitting there listening to you and thinking of a lot of other songs. It could be that the Vietnamese people, all the Vietnamese people, need a new song. One song that everybody can sing. The music you have is just excellent music. Can you find the words which could bring the Vietnamese people together? Something my thinking is, and I'm not Vietnamese, so I don't know, something which would bring about the spirit, Ki Hong, Sông Núi, the spirit of mountains and rivers, the ballad of Lê Lai, I don't know, the ballad of Nui Lam, something like that, which all Vietnamese would feel you're talking about me, and you're talking about my people. Now, if you could do that, you would be like Huynh Trải Thứ Hai.
First of all, thank you so much for liking the song that we sang today. Indeed, today we're so limited in time, so we only have 3 songs just to to share with you. But in our archive, we have thousands of songs, not just about freedom, right? All these, but it's about patriotism, about historical, Đã Ta Sông Núi, all the songs creating the love of the Vietnamese for our homelands. Yes, we do have those songs. Hopefully, one of the events, you will get a chance to hear us singing those songs, okay? But thank you, that is a great point. Next
We have time
comment,
for
please.
one more question.
Yeah, one more question, please.
I don't really have a question. I'm here to offer the comment and respond to, I think, the question about what are we to do. So, first of all, my name is Cao Thái Hải. I am an American politician. I've been active in American politics for the last 10 years. And the reason I changed and focused into American politics is because I've been with Vietnamese politics for the last 50 years. I'm with Dr. my country, same that we got nowhere. Because, for example, hồi nãy có nói speak about, look at the Israel people. Why? Why they are successful? Because every single one of them involved, either active, semi-active in politics. And in both parties, Democrat, Republican, so it doesn't matter who is in charge. They have the power to lobby every single one, particularly the Senate and the Congress. Petition change doesn't have that effective, but imagine all of you guys, young generation, second generation, call up your representative and senator and lobby them and say, if you don't do what we want, you don't get our vote next time. That's my offer.
Thank you. Indeed. Thank you so much. Indeed, that's what we have been doing and we will continue to do. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. So let's wrap up this. The panel have shared with you all the human rights violations at all levels for the past 50 years from the communist regime, and also how our organizations, the Voice of Freedom for Vietnam, use media and music as as a platform to advocate for freedom and democracy in Vietnam. I'd like to thank you, all the panelists here, all the speakers, for sharing with the audience your personal experience, your knowledge about the topic. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. Thank you.